There is a famous poem called the Serenity Prayer. You might have heard it. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Before we can talk about all the things that we can do, we need to make peace with what we can't. And reality, in the way we are going to be using the term in this course going forward, are things that are out of our control. So gravity is reality. If we jump on Earth, there will be an attractive force that will pull us down towards the planet. Your beliefs are irrelevant here. It doesn't matter whether you believe in gravity or not, it will pull you down. It's reality. And an example of reality in the corporate world might be that your bosses will decide your year-end rating based on their assessments of your performance, not based on your assessment of your own performance. Now, you might not agree with the rating you get. You might feel it's unfair, biased, harsh, but the rating will be primarily based on their assessment of your performance and not on your assessment of your performance. For most people in most companies, that's the reality. And there are two things you can do with reality. One, you can accept it, or two, you can go into denial, which means to say you refuse to accept reality. But reality is like a mountain. If you're a mountain climber and you slip and cut yourself, you can scream and shout and bang your fist on the mountain, but what happens to the mountain? Nothing. Nothing happens to the mountain. What happens to you? You cause yourself more harm. In this corporate example we're using, if you refuse to accept that other people are going to assess your performance, you're going to get upset and demotivated and resentful. And resentment is like drinking a poison hoping someone else will die. You may hope that if you get upset enough, people will change your rating. And it might happen once in like 20 times. But in 19 out of 20 cases, people will think you're close to feedback and that you exaggerate your own achievements. Now, if instead you accept this reality that people are going to rate you based on their assessments of your performance, well, you'll make sure you invest time at the beginning of the year checking to make sure you've understood the expectations of the people who'll be assessing you. And you will check multiple times during the year to make sure that what you are delivering is what they were hoping you'd deliver. And when you accept the mountain for what it is, you can navigate it more easily. You can use the shape of the mountain to guide your approach to tackling it. But you have to accept it for what it is. So why do people find it so hard to accept reality sometimes? Well, one reason is because, as we've just discussed, they're hoping that they can make someone else change their mind. But another reason people refuse to accept reality is because they feel that if they accept it, it means that they're accepting that something else, which they think is linked, must also be true. So for example, if I accept that I didn't get the highest rating this year, then subconsciously I feel it means I'm accepting that I don't have the capability or potential for success. And these are two completely different things. My low rating this year does not mean low potential. In fact, the low rating could be a stepping stone to success. I could introspect and learn. I could develop resilience. I could decide to quit and do something else that I really believe in. The rating that I'm resisting today is not a measure of my inherent long-term potential or my worth as a human being. These are completely different things. Now, to be clear, accepting reality doesn't mean you're resigned to things being the same. Acceptance is a completely different thing to resignation. Resignation means you think that there's nothing you can do to change what's going to happen in the future. Acceptance means you acknowledge that what has just happened has just happened. And if you refuse to accept reality and say, this shouldn't have happened this way, or this shouldn't be happening, then you're going to spend your energy looking for who to blame for what happened or thinking about why it's unfair that it happened, instead of figuring out what you need to do to create the future you want. You see, there is no way that the world should be. That world doesn't exist. There are only two worlds that exist. One is the reality of the way the world is now. And second is the possibility of the way the world could be in the future, the way we want it to be. And it's only when we accept the first that we can start creating the latter. Comparing the way the world is to the way that you think it should be will only create one emotion: suffering. The universe has no obligation to live up to your expectations of it. It was here first. Now, what we have been resisting may have been hard for us to let go of. A painful divorce. We're subconsciously afraid it means we're unlovable. Not getting into our first choice college. We're afraid it means we're not smart enough. A traumatic experience. We're afraid it means we can never be safe. The way that people currently perceive and judge us, we're afraid it means we'll never be understood or appreciated. The uncertainty due to coronavirus, we're afraid it means we won't be able to provide for people we care about or protect them from harm. It may be very hard. But before you can focus on doing all the things you need to do, you've got to start by clearing your mind of all the things you can't do anything about. So here's the reflection exercise for today. Write a list of all the things in your life that either happened in the past or things that exist today that you have no control over. The things that still nag you and keep a hold on you and prevent you from being free to express yourself. And then at the end of this list, please write this sentence. I accept all this. And now I'm ready. We'll see you in the next video.